Hello, hello, everybody, and welcome to What's Your Journey show. Spunky Susan here and Maverick Mary, and we have a special guest with us tonight. Super excited to have Henry back. He actually was on my podcast this past summer, and he is with us out of another country. And I, for the life of me, just like it lost the name of your country, but it's 1 a.m. where he's at. So first off, I just want to say thank you for being here because, if people don't get that you get up at 1 a.m. in the morning because this is an important topic for you, we ought to kick their ass. so, so welcome, Henry.
Thank you.
What I'd like to do is just have you share some of your background with us and share your history on how the depression that you've experienced in your life and what are the kind of things that you do to work with it.
Sure, I'd love to. Well, thank you very much for having me on board. I feel very strongly about depression and sending a really healthy message around it. And hell, if it would have been 3 a.m, I would have done it. I haven't actually been to bed, so I thought I'd just plow on through and do this. So I'm Henry. I'm a warrior coach, mentor, podcaster, a lot of other things. At the center of it, I'm just a very loving man who only seeks to help other people. My story, really, and I'll give you the greatest hits because obviously there's a lot of story. So, really beautiful kid, just found out that I didn't get my needs met emotionally, and I went down the wrong path in life. Try and find some way to meet these emotional needs. Got into addiction. That addiction got really, really bad. Was institutionalized, sent to all kind of different hospitals, homelessness, the works of it. All the while suffering from depression, ADHD, OCD, all the traits. And something that I've learned about depression is that not only is it not being talked about, but there isn't enough of a healthy message being sent to those people to let them know that and I'll just speak directly to them, is that you're not alone and you do not have to suffer, and your depression need not define you. Because there's a very strong message that people say, I am depressed, whereas I would say, I'm experiencing depression, but I am Henry, to make that kind of separation, to give ourselves back the power we have. I picked up a lot of tips and tricks of how to deal with depression. Are you right for me to go into those now?
Yeah. Mary, you all right with it?
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. The first thing that I say to everyone, including my clients, is you can't do this on your own. That is the absolute first thing. We have this strange thought that we need to be able to prove ourselves in difficult situations, that we need to be able to carry all this emotional weight on our shoulders and survive. And really, that's unrealistic. And that's actually a self-destructive mode of thinking. So the first thing we do is we set up a support network. That is absolutely bottom line. And be that a family member or a friend or a therapist or a coach or a mentor, whoever it is that you can speak to, and you're looking for someone who's not going to give you advice. Who do you want? You want someone who's going to listen to you, because that's all you need. If you get depressed, you need to know that there's someone on Facebook or someone at the end of the phone who genuinely will listen to you and will hold that space of understanding. That is absolute first. And communication with whoever it is builds on top of that. Another thing is exercise and spinach. Okay? So exercise, like I suffer from bipolar depression and I get it really, really badly. The only thing that alleviates me is going outside, spending some time in nature, going for a run. If you're not a massive runner, that's cool. If you've got a dog, go for a walk with your dog. But something that takes you outside. There's something about being stuck in a house that just compounds the depression. You want to spend time outside in nature. We weren't meant to be in nature. We weren't meant to be enclosed within four walls. So you got to allow yourself to do that. Meditation is another great one. And spinach, something about dark green vegetables, guys. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's Popeye had something right all along. Who knows? But yeah, dark green vegetables, spinach, broccoli, all of that. Absolutely amazing. And for staying safe over the holidays, like I get it. You know, in recovery with drugs and alcohol, the relapse rate is highest just after Christmas because everyone white knuckles it all the way through Christmas, and then when it's over, it's suddenly that release, and it's like, oh, and they go and relapse. And it's really important that you find if people aren't comfortable, like there's this, you might not want to contact a family, or you know, if someone has a family because it's Christmas time, you don't want to burden them. Like that's okay, but find someone you don't feel guilty about contacting. You know, and if someone opens their doors and says, "Hey, I want you to contact me if you feel bad," then take them up on it. Like, don't listen to the voice in our heads that tells us that we'll be burdening them, because that's, I won't swear, but you all know what it is. It begins with B, hens and T. So do that and
What,
reach
bitch?
out. Huh?
Was it bitch?
No, it wasn't. It was two words joined together.
Oh.
But yeah, so the BS, like, don't listen to the BS.
Oh, bullshit. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, well, I wasn't sure if I could swear or not. So.
Well, Spunky,
You can do whatever you want, Henry.
Oh, really? Oh,
if anybody has a problem with it, they can just come take it up with me.
Well, apparently swearing doesn't sound like swearing when you say it in English. So, I mean, they're the real fundamentals of what to do when someone has depression, and it is so much about avoiding isolation, because isolation just sets up an echo chamber, because it's just us and our thoughts left to our own devices. We don't have any fresh air blowing in to give us a different perspective. And the holidays are hard because we are surrounded by a constant message that it's family, it's happy, it's warm, what a lovely time of year, when in reality there's probably a minority of the world who are experiencing that, and that's great, but it's not the reality for many of us. And I can understand if someone would be like, I've known people to, you know, just shut down over Christmas because they can't handle it, you know, and that's okay too. Make sure that you're not on your own when you do that. Just make sure there's someone who knows that you're going through some stuff, who they can just pick up the phone. Like some people I speak to on Christmas, I don't even mention that it's Christmas. It's just like, hey, buddy, how are you? And we just have a conversation, you know? It's just another person to speak to on the level.
That's such great advice.
Rabbit it on then.
No, I think that's really great. Why would anyone want to be isolated? You just put, the nail on the head for sure, that it's really hard to admit that what our feelings are, and asking for help, I think, is the hardest thing to do, because that's admitting that you can't do it on your own. And I know for me personally, that's really difficult. I do a lot of things on my own. Susan and I do this show, and I think we're probably both two people that like to do a lot of things on our own, but we've been willing in this show to give up a little control, each of us, and make this work. And we're so happy to have you here with us tonight, Henry, all the way from England, United Kingdom.
That's it, England.
There we go.
So
it's an absolute pleasure. And I get it. Like, it is, I'm the same, you know. I have this mentality that to be stronger, and it's been there my entire life, even all the way through my self-harm episodes. You know, I just kept on pushing my body harder and harder and harder because I felt that I had to be able to take it. And that kind of slight self-destructive edge carries on over into my depression. And I still struggle to let people know, but I just do. You know, I just think, you know what, this isn't working. I'm in my room crying again. Okay, what can I do?
Henry, can you walk us through what it felt like for you the first time you gave up control and told someone that you needed to have help and have someone to talk to?
Oh yeah, it was terrifying. It was terrifying. It was I thought that when I told them, they would see the shame that I felt inside myself, which I was hiding. That was the reason why I wouldn't tell anyone, because I felt that shame. And I thought as soon as I said I need help, they'd see it. You know, they'd see this part of me, which I desperately try to hide from everyone and from myself. And it was my mum, actually. It was a long time ago. It was my mum. And we have been through an intense journey, me and my mum. And I was in bits, and I was so depressed I could hardly move. You know, it was one of those times when all the light had gone out from the world, and I just said, you know, my depression, it hasn't gone away. It's here right now. I'm having a really hard time. I don't know what to do, and I just started to cry, and I said, I can't do this on my own. And you know, when you say like, I can't do this, time just stands still, because I'm finally about to say the words which I never thought I would ever say, and everything just hangs on it. And then it's almost like I don't remember saying, I can't do this on my own. But then she replied back to me, and she was like, okay, you're not alone. What do you need?
Wow.
And then I said, I don't know what I need, but the relief of telling her, and like, she didn't see the shame, you know, she didn't see what I was so desperately trying to hide. I think that's the key, is that we judge ourselves so harshly.
Mm-hmm.
And when we go and meet someone else and invite them into our space, we're so scared that they're going to judge us just as harshly. But they don't, because they see us as human beings, and they want to help us not be in pain.
So, Henry, when you're like, what would you advise people that have family members dealing with depression? What would you advise for them in how to show up for people in their family that are dealing with depression? You know, because everybody's committed to their family and they love their family, but some people may not just know how to show up for those people.
Of course.
You know, like have some fear, like if I say the wrong thing, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's quite simple on how to show up, and there are a few things to be mindful of. Is that someone with depression doesn't have a choice over how they feel. The episodes come on, it's out of their control, and it can be a distressing time for them. So what the best thing to do is to relieve the pressure of expectation over them. Understand that they are unable at this time to perform normally. So instead of saying, why can't you just snap out of it? You say, I understand that you're going through this. I haven't been through it, but I'm imagining it must be really hard for you. And that's kind of it. You just need to let them know that you understand their situation, and also take back the control. Like, you can't change it. There's nothing, and it's that powerlessness that human beings struggle so much with, because when you see someone that you love and they're in pain, all we want to do is just take that pain away, and we would do anything. But unfortunately, in this situation with depression, it's counterproductive, because all it does is it puts pressure on the person who's feeling depressed, suffocates them a little bit. All they need is time, and they will come out of it.
Yeah.
When they come out of it. And unfortunately, we have no control over it.
So just piggybacking on that, as you know, I'm a teacher, so I work with a lot of children, and this time of year is very, very difficult for them. And we often have children saying, geez, I work with middle schoolers, so it's at a very emotional time anyway, as a, young adolescent.
Mm.
But they'll be crying and not even know why they're crying, or be upset and feel like they need to be isolated, but not know when they need to be isolated. So, did your depression come on? Was it something that you recognized when you were young, or was it something recognized when you were an adult?
It wasn't recognized until I was 14. I had a litany of other psychological problems which went undiagnosed simply because the awareness just wasn't there. I'm 37 now, so back in the 80s, like it was just like I'm dyslexic as well. They didn't really know what dyslexia was, so all these things kind of went undiagnosed. But I was an incredibly disruptive, probably quite an odd child to have in a classroom because I would act very, very differently. My depression so really manifested when I don't know what it is in America, but it's kind of 15, 16, is that middle school or is it high school? I'm not sure.
High school.
High school, yes.
Yeah. So I I found it really difficult in school to handle the depression because, the teachers didn't know about it. They didn't know that I needed time. My parents didn't understand at that time what I needed. And if I found it a super isolating experience because there was literally no one that I could talk to. Your kids, Mary, are incredibly lucky to have someone like you on their side. That is a gift within itself.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you for saying that. Yeah, I've noticed definitely this week where the heightened stress on the kids is manifested in different ways. Our eighth graders, especially the boys, are much more active and much more lack of control of their own body movements. They just they really need an outlet for that energy.
Yeah.
So as a matter of fact, I approached one of the staff members today about, geez, is there a way we could give them an outlet for that during the day? Is there a room that they could go and just, do their like dance steps or something like that, so that they can, kind of feel like they can be free and blow off a little bit of steam at the same time. Because there's so much bottled up and it feels like I can see it feeling like it's bubbling over for them because they know next week that the regularity in their life of having a meal 3 times, twice a day, and people around them that care about them the whole day is going to change, because often all the parents are working, and then once Christmas is over, no one's going to be home. And they're going to be left with, if they don't live near any of their friends, they might feel isolated, like what you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the holiday, I forget how it's said in America. I guess the holidays or Christmas time is, at its very basis, a massive period of transition. And, routine is so important, not to every human being. I've got clients who are encountering that a real panic, and their depression is manifesting in lots of different ways, like a lot, like you just said, Mary, like in the adults even, that energy is just building up, and it's this anticipated stress response that they're not going to be as occupied as they usually would be, and they're going to have to face some of the difficulties which they face during Christmas because they're not going to be busy with work and whatnot. So it's even more reason to raise the awareness that people are going to need extra around this period of time.
I just want to ask you one other question while I have you on here. One of the things that you said that you love doing is going outside.
Yeah.
What do you think it is about going outside? I like to go outside to relieve stress as well, and I have my own take on that. I just love nature, and I just love how the air smells in general. At school, I can always tell when the kids have come in from recess, because if I go down the hallway right after they've all entered back into the classroom, the whole hallway smells like fresh air.
Oh, wow.
So
Sounds
it's
like a
just
good hallway.
yeah, it's just a different smell, in the air from that crisp fall winter air. So what about
I
you?
love it. I absolutely love it. I think from what you just said, it just made me think of something, actually. I think possibly, because I wasn't sure of my answer. I was going to say I just like being outside, which is a bit of a rough jump. I have 2 dogs as well, so it's always nice to hang out with the dogs outside. They help me kind of see, I don't know, beauty and nature. But I think it's that I can be totally present when I'm outside. All my senses are activated. I can smell more, I can taste more, I can feel things on my face, and my body is especially when it's cold. It's like my body wakes up to react to the cold, which kind of makes me feel more alive. So maybe that's more something to do with it. And I do believe that human beings were meant to be sort of in nature and not in boxes. Don't get me wrong, I love a house. I'd probably die if I was outside, but while I can, I do like to walk out. I just love forests and trees.
And Susan lives in beautiful out in Montana.
Wow.
And beautiful mountains out there. So Susan, what do you like about the outside?
I like being in Mother Nature as well. Up in the trees, I do a lot of camping, kayaking, and winter is not my favorite time of the month. What I like about it is like what Henry said. It's like I'm more present and connected to spirit, and like just my level of vibration increases.
Yeah, absolutely. There's something I actually love this time of year.
Really? Wait.
Yeah.
I think I'm meant to be somewhere where it's warm in the winter.
Maybe we should swap. I mean, it's probably
We
warmer
could,
than
totally. Because I'm telling you, I'm gonna be having a condo or something near the beach, and I'm gonna live in it for at least 2 months out of the year from Montana. But I'll totally be here during spring, summer, and fall.
And then escape to the beach. Beautiful.
That's right.
Why not?
Or even Sedona. I heard Sedona has some really high energy there.
Really?
Yeah. As far as connecting with spirit, like it's apparently really deep. It's good.
I heard someone who traditionally ran retreats in Norway said that they were going to change to Sedona because of something like intensely spiritual about it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah,
it's not just the
warmth.
The warmth and the outside, but just the rock formations in general.
Wow.
The different colors, the temperature, the people there are incredibly soothing in the sense that often in New England and where I live, when people first meet you, they often really don't want to greet you. They're very standoffish, and they don't want to shake your hand or give you a hug or do anything like that. They're just kind of observers. Whereas, in other countries and other places in the world, people greet each other with a kiss on both cheeks, and you might not even know that person. And I don't know about you, but I love that. I don't care if you're a stranger or not. I'm like, wow, that is a greeting.
Yeah.
I would happily hug every stranger that I meet.
That's another thing to add to the tips of depression for people that are just out and about during this holiday. Acts of kindness, just even the smallest act of kindness, whether it be a smile, opening the door. Something I enjoy doing is like buying the person's latte behind me. Anything. When I lived in Seattle, my 2 younger boys and I would walk up and walk down the streets and stuff, and we played this game to see how many people we could actually get to smile at us. Who won if you got the most smiles. And it was very interesting, you guys. Everybody seemed to walk with their heads down or they were on their phone. So it was very challenging.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is awesome. I'm going to give that a go. Why not?
I love that idea. We should put that into research analytics there.
We could do a challenge in the group for that. Another idea that was given to me, I haven't done this yet, but I will, just because I'm that kind of person. She said that she saw this video of a girl who would dance down the road. She would go downtown, put her earphones on, and she'd just start dancing down the street and dancing around people, as you know what I mean? And I thought, oh, that would be cool, because I love to dance. I love music. And I could enroll Bella in that, and we could both be dancing and getting people to dance. I've actually done that in a grocery line.
Oh, wow. How was it?
Oh, it was fun. I was embarrassed as hell, but it was fun. And there was like one lady who was like looking at me like, are you stupid? Is there something wrong with you? Like, I made that up, right? It came from me. But, the look on her face. But it was funny. It was.
Oh, that's so awesome.
It was just like one guy just sitting there smiling and shaking his head.
It would have given him a good story,
Yeah.
To smile and laugh about.
Joy is infectious, though, don't you think?
It is.
Joy is infectious. I used to have a mailman that I used to call him the twirling mailman.
Wow.
Because I lived on a main street, but my mailbox was on my house. And he always twirled to my door while he was singing.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
And one day I had to tell him I was moving, and I'm like, he's like, oh, you're moving? I said, yeah, I'm really sad because I'll never have another twirling, singing mailman ever again.
It sounds incredible. Man.
That would be fun.
Just wouldn't see that
in
England. You get a lot of grumpy mail people, but no singing, no twirling. What a guy.
Yeah, twirling, singing mailman.
You know what to do with those grumpy people is kill them with kindness. So what I've been practicing doing, and I learned this out of the Rhonda Byrne's new book, Magic of Gratitude or something like that. I can't remember the title, but I actually did a 28-day challenge in my group, Gratitude is Bliss. And one of the practices was to actually be on purpose throughout your day, expressing gratitude with people. And so I would do that when we went to the fast food, when we went to the grocery store, when I called to make a payment on the phone, anything, any connection I made with somebody. And at first it was kind of challenging because I wasn't sure like how they would respond. But most of everybody always just responded like in shock. They were like, wow, well, thank you. And after about 2 people, I was like, oh, this is easy. Because I really believe in acknowledging people.
Oh,
and
I'm so glad you said that.
Acknowledgement is huge.
Something I've been doing, it was my New Year's resolution last year. And that was to ask every single person that served me or like you, like on the phone, their name. And then tell them to have a beautiful day and thank you so much for serving me. This made my day. And I tell you, like, it is, especially if you're in a depressed space, like that is the last thing you want to do. It's the last thing you want to do. You're not going to do it. But if you do it, that little act of kindness, it reaps huge rewards and it will make you feel better about yourself. It makes me, my girlfriend's like, sorry, he made a New Year's resolution that he needs to like. You don't need to explain it. It's all right. She's like, I was in a shop the other day, and we came out and said, Joe, I had to stop myself from telling him that I loved him. Because I felt that immediate connection of love, and I love telling people that I love them. And she was like, "That's a really good call, Henry, because you don't know the guy, and quite honestly, you would have thought you were a bit weird."
That's just it, you guys, is we make everything mean something. Nobody has to say, and they have the same fears that you and I have.
Yeah.
And,
absolutely.
if we can just let go of whatever it is that we have around, like the thoughts that come up around, what are they thinking by the look on their face? You know, we don't know what nobody's thinking, you know, so we're
If
not.
we did, it'd be a horrible way to live because we literally wouldn't say anything to each other. And you're so right, Susan. If we spend in recovery, no, it's gone. But you're absolutely right. Like, we cannot ever know what other people are thinking. So let's just stick with us and what we're thinking and what we can do.
So it's exactly 7 p.m. Is there anything you guys want to end this night with? Anything you want to leave our viewers and listeners with?
I love you. Okay. That's my piece.
Okay.
And I just want to say, don't be alone.
Yeah.
Phone a friend.
Absolutely.
Phone a friend.
And if anyone's on Facebook and they think they're going to be alone, then reach out to me. You know, I'm here. Perfectly happy to jump on a call, have a conversation. You know, I'm a great listener. Perfectly happy to listen.
And a great artist as well.
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah, very great artist.
Oh, stop you.
You're amazing, Henry. Well, I want to end this evening with just acknowledging Henry and Mary and our viewers. Like, well, first, let me just acknowledge Henry. Henry, like, I've been watching you ever since we've done our live interview via the radio show. And what I see is a very compassionate, kind-hearted, loving man who just shines and is vulnerable and courageous and very passionate about what you want to contribute in this world in making a difference and how our children and our grandchildren grow. So I want to thank you for that.
Thank you very much. That's beautiful. Thank you.
And of course, Maverick Mary, my love, you are the shining light for the children in your school, and very intelligent, remarkably beautiful, and funny as hell, and just a joy to be around. And I love that we do this show together. So thank you for giving.
I have a lot of fun giving as well. I think giving makes you feel so wonderful. And, you know, I love the warm fuzzies I feel at the end.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
Absolutely.
even with my cuss words.
Oh yeah,
she just tolerates me, doesn't she?
I look forward to that.
I don't say I'm as bad, but I just have these moments. I don't know, like this Shira pops out and she like wants to say what she's got to say.
Yeah. I love it.
So, all right, you guys, I love you. Namaste.
Absolutely.
And we will see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.